Hello there, you're watching our television. This is State of Business with me, Pongutha Kadugampala. We have in the headlines. The opposition brings forth the National People's Council. Sri Lanka Telecom announces that it is digitally ready. And now let's have a detailed look at today's stories. Now, Independent MP Partli Champika Ranaweka says that central bank and finance ministry officials who neglected international warnings on the country's economy should be punished. Parliamentarian Ranaweka made these observations while debating the emergency law during today's parliamentary session.
අප්‍රේල් 12 වෙනිදා අපිට ඒ බංකොලොත් රට ඇති වුණා මේ අවුරුද්දේ. කවුද වග කියුත්තෝ? මේ රටේ 2020 මාර්තු මාසේ 7 වෙනිදා මහ බැංකුවට අන්තර්ජාතික මූල්‍ය අරමුදලෙන් පණිවිඩයක් ලැබුණා. ඔබේ ණය ප්‍රතිව්‍යුහගත කරගත්තේ නැත්නම් ඔබ ඉතා ඉක්මනින් අමාරුව වැටලා බංකොලොත් භාවයට ලක් වෙන නියමිතයි කියලා. ඒක නොතකා හැරියා මේ මූල්‍ය මණ්ඩලය, ඒක නොතකා හැරියා මේ මහ බැංකුව අධිපති. අපේ රටේ තියෙන මොනිටරි ලෝ ඇක්ට් එක 1950 ඉඳලා මේ රට බංකොලොත් භාවයට පත් කිරීම සඳහා වගකිව යුතු ඒ මහ බැංකුව අධිපතිලට ඒ මූල්‍ය මණ්ඩලයට කවුරුවත් නැහැ නඩු දාන්න. ඒ වගේම 2002 දී අපි සම්මත කරගත්තා Fiscal Responsibility Management Act කියලා එකක්. ඒ මගින් මේ රටේ ණය පාලනය කිරීමේ වගකීම භාණ්ඩාගාරයේ ලේකම්ට මුදල් අමාත්‍යාංශයේ ලේකම්ට ලැබුණා. ඒ දීලා තිබිච්ච ඉලක්ක අනුව 2013 දී අපේ රටේ ණයබර වෙන්න ඕනේ දළ ජාතික ආදායමෙන් නිෂ්පාදනයට සාපේක්ෂව 60%යි. අද කීයද? 120යි. ඒතකොට මේ වගකීම මුදල් අමාත්‍යාංශයේ ලේකම්ලා, මුදල් ඇමතිලා, භාණ්ඩාගාර ලේකම්ලා ඉටු කරලා තියෙනවද? අද මේ ජනතාව දුක් විඳින්න එක හේතුවක් ඒක නේද? රාජපක්ෂ පවුලට අමතරව මේ මහා ජාතික මංකොල්ලයට අවශ්‍ය කරන රැකවරණය ලබා දීපු අයට මූල්‍ය පනත යටතේ හෝ ඒ වගේම ඒ මූල්‍ය කළමනාකරන පනත යටතේ හෝ දඬුවම් දෙන්නේ නැතුව මේ අරගල බිමේ ඉන්න තරුණ තරුණියෝ හිරගෙට යවන්න මොකද්ද ආණ්ඩුවකට තියෙන සදාචාරාත්මක අයිතිය?
Meanwhile, the opposition leader Sajith Premadasa says a National People's Council will be established to take proposals put forward by the people to the parliament. This council will then mediate on behalf of the people. The opposition leader maintains that there should be a proper medium for exchange of ideas between the people and the leaders of the country. The National Council will receive and submit progressive proposals to Parliament. Sajith Premadasa added that participatory governance should be implemented at all times rather than leaders only engaging the people during elections. Premadasa said the National People's Council will be formed by bringing together mass society, trade unions and civil organizations. Tissa Tanaika has been appointed the governor of the council and Mujibur Rahman has been appointed the secretary. The council will meet every Monday at 2 p.m. The leader of the opposition said that the council was an example for the existing government and that it should become a legal program. Premadasa aims for the proposals that any member of the public can submit to be supported as an opposition that will be implemented through Parliament. The opposition leader says that the council will come up with a proposal regarding the future program to build the country and alleviate current difficulties faced by the people. Meanwhile, during today's parliamentary session, Samaki Janabalawege MPs voted against the emergency law. Now, Sri Lanka has asked China to help with trade, investment and tourism to help it grow sustainably. Colombo's envoy to Beijing in an interview with Foreign News yesterday said Sri Lanka is negotiating an emergency $4 billion assistance package. Ambassador Partli Champika emphasized that China is the key to Sri Lanka's economic recovery. This has reflected Beijing's status as one of Sri Lanka's two largest foreign creditors, along with Japan. China holds 10% of Sri Lanka's external debt. During the interview, Kahana said Colombo wants China to ask companies to buy more Sri Lankan black tea, sapphires, spices and garments and make import rules transparent and easier to navigate. He said Beijing could also help by investing further in China-backed port projects in Colombo and Hambantota. In addition, Sri Lanka would like to see more Chinese tourists, whose numbers fell to almost zero after the 2019 suicide attacks and the pandemic. Kahana said President Ranil Wickremesinghe has plans to visit China to discuss cooperation on matters including trade, investment and tourism. Ambassador Kahana maintains that he expects no fundamental change in the new government's policy towards China. He understands that China is unable to act quickly to help Sri Lanka as a global creditor financially exposed to other countries in financial difficulty. For several months, Sri Lanka had been in talks in China for a $4 billion aid package consisting of a loan of $1 billion to repay a roughly equivalent amount of Chinese debt due this year. The nation is also asking for a $1.5 billion credit line to pay for Chinese imports. Kahana said these imports are mainly inputs needed by his country's lucrative garment industry and includes buttons and zippers. Sri Lanka also hopes to persuade China to activate a $1.5 billion bilateral currency swap. Kahana said discussions on financial aid with China are still underway, but no date for the next meeting has been set. Beyond financial aid, Sri Lanka also hopes China can help it buy fuel, fertilizer and other urgently needed supplies. Stay tuned for more stories after this short commercial break.
This is the MySLT app. Wow, get extra GB. Check data usage. Activate data bundles. Pay bills. Report faults. Change a duck into a swan. I'm sorry, can't do that.
Download today. SLT Mobitel, the connection.
Welcome back after the break. Now, SLT Mobitel yesterday announced a national proposal to enhance critical services in sectors and digitally empower citizens. Under system change proposition, SLT Mobitel plans to deliver innovative solutions to enhance critical services and sectors while digitally empowering citizens. The new system change proposed by SLT Mobitel places digitally empowered citizens at its foundation, with digitized identities protected by strong digital security and privacy. It will serve as a building block for new tech innovations that can strengthen digital commerce and e-governance in critical operations. SLT Mobitel has identified healthcare, education, transportation, agriculture, tourism, judiciary and banking and finance as critical services and sectors that can be more efficient and transparent under this new system. SLT Mobitel cites archaic legacy systems, inefficiency, corruption, heavy operational costs and waste in critical sectors and services to be the main reason to expedite a system change in the country. SLT Mobitel, which began over 160 years ago, is now a publicly listed conglomerate offering technology and connectivity solutions, ready-to-go technology platforms, advanced network backbone services and digital infrastructure. Speaking at the event, Group Chairman Rohana Fernandez said that Sri Lanka Telecom is digitally ready for a future system change.
We are digitally ready to activate all these platforms. Some of these platforms we have given to the government. We are negotiating for the last several years. Especially the judiciary system we have given to the government, where you could get your calling date on your mobile phone without having to waste time in a courthouse just to get your calling date. Why they are not implementing is a question mark. Is the bureaucracy or something else? Some other expectations? I don't know. I'm talking about the system. Similarly, the transport platforms where you can scan the QR code and get your ticket, where you don't have to issue physically tickets, paper tickets. All those systems we have given. So it is ready, and this is the time to implement. And if they do implement, I think the change is near and we can come out of this dark pit and look towards a digitalized and Sri Lanka where we can live very comfortably and we can be proud of.
Meanwhile, the Hotels Association of Sri Lanka has decided to strongly recommend reduced consumption of imported goods and services in hotel operations. It views this as a critical aspect to regain national economic stability. If a focused approach is taken, the hoteliers feel that this will contribute tremendously to economic recovery. The standard of most Sri Lankan products is now very high, and foreign travelers allowed to experience the destination, including its cuisine, apart from the cultural and natural attractions the country has on offer. In 2018, the registered accommodation sector generated annual revenue in excess of 120 billion rupees, of which a large portion was foreign exchange or was converted on dollar contracts. Food and beverage are key elements in a hotel, and the need to reduce the use of imported items to reduce dollar outflow has now been identified, and the association is committed to pushing this initiative out to their membership. This will also be a cost-effective exercise for business units and will help profitability during these difficult times when top-line revenues and pricing are challenging. There are hoteliers who have practiced the use of local products over the past 10 years. Tourism earnings these turbulent times have exceeded $600 million as at end May. The industry is confident that a peaceful political environment will help drive this figure to a target $1.5 billion by end of 2022. The growth of tourism will have far-reaching effects as it boosts over 500,000 direct and indirect employment opportunities, and there are over 3 million people dependent on tourism. This translates to 12% of the entire population. The sector's gross domestic product contribution in a normal year stands at 12%. The Hotels Association of Sri Lanka is confident that this initiative will contribute to the national recovery process and hope that all stakeholders will consciously reduce the consumption of imported items. Now, Sri Lanka Gem and Jewellery Association is putting forward a number of solutions that can uplift and boost the industry further, adhering to the ethical mining and environmental regulations and ensure miners produce more gems and explore more areas across the island. The association says that these efforts will ensure that the mining industry maintains steady growth and meet global demand for precious stones. Easing the export process will open up the mining industry and ensures the industry thrives and helps boost the economy, which is much needed during the current crisis the country faces. Continuing to relax the regulations on gem exports will ensure the industry returns to its flourishing days when the gem industry was the third largest revenue source for the economy. It is vital that the gem industry is liberalized to unlock its true potential. Recognized the world over for the extensive array of valuable gems, Sri Lanka is a treasure trove of precious gems. Sri Lanka produces some of the most high quality and unique gems in the world, which include Ceylon blue sapphires, pink sapphires, star sapphires, cat's eye, alexandrites, spinels, and over 70 varieties of various other gemstones mined and marketed globally. The Sri Lankan gem industry was officially established in 1971 when the government took the initiative to encourage the creation of the Sri Lanka Gem Corporation. The gem industry saw rapid export growth and is supported by the introduction of the convertible rupee account, which offered incentives to gem exporters to import a variety of items from the gem export proceeds. This expanded the gem industry and boosted exports. However, the local mining industry has shrunk significantly due to restrictions faced by exporters, driving exporters to depend on imported gems. Value addition within the industry remains high as these stones are exported or sold to foreign tourists, and global demand for gems and jewellery increased during the pandemic. Therefore, Sri Lanka was able to sustain the industry. Stay tuned for stock updates.
Hey Siri. Can our smartphones spy on us?
Interesting question.
Exactly. Which is why we're going to look for answers here on Shift.
Manage all your SLT Mobitel services through the My SLT app.
Welcome back to the program. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on negative notes today. The Osha Price Index dropped 3.48 points to close at 7,626.69, and the S&P 20 dropped 9.60 points to close at 2,409.12. The turnover was 1.0 billion rupees and over 45 million shares were traded. Coming up next are Forex rates. Well, that's all I need to do. See you tomorrow with State of Business at the usual time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
State of Business was sponsored by
Manage all your SLT Mobitel services through the My SLT app.